LondonHotRadio.com. Tune in now for shout-outs and requests. Call, WhatsApp or SMS us on 0044 777 0603 264.
Hello people, this is London Hot Radio, Random in the building. Today I've got my daughter as a guest and we're just gonna shell it down. Okay, DJ Sin.
It's a good day to everybody. I hope you guys are well on this Saturday evening. We have got Snake in the building, Randoms. We have got his lovely daughter Angel in the building.
You know what, men? Enjoy your day. We had a day off today. That's good. Got Randoms in the building. Come on, people. Come on.
You tell me you are big, me a call where you gonna search the phone for. Know what tear off me shirt. After me done tell you say you are the woman of the yard, and you know say every man flirt. So why the hell you are stress me when you think caress me? Tell me where the cussing word. You know see say telephone thing mash up me life. It make me till I call you why. You know see say telephone thing mash up me life. It make me girl run gone tonight. And you know see say telephone thing mash up me life. Hey, I hit a class for and five. You know see say telephone thing mash up me life. It make me can't sleep good at night. Look how you day with me good and never until you go read me one sex. Yes, boss. Yes, boss.
I'm on London Hot Radio. Randoms in the building. Come on, viewers.
Policemen in the streets, searching for colony. Soldiers in the field, burning the colony. But if you continue to burn up the earth, we gonna burn down the cane fields. If you continue to burn up the earth, we gonna burn down the cane fields. Soldier in the herb field, burning the colony. Police in helicopter, I said to marijuana. Policemen in the street, when up for them the truth, they want they gonna do them get slow, yeah. Rise and never fall. Tell them say, boo, what they gonna do when up for them the truth, they want they gonna do them get slow, yeah. Who do you think you are? We're living in a small world. As wicked as you think you are, we're living in a small world. As bad as you think you are, we're living in a small world. As tough as you think you are, we're living in a one your name. Alright, that day will come when I stand and see all those wicked men in the fire getting burned. That day will come when they will try to escape and there will be nowhere to run. That day will come when I shall see they handing over bombs and bayonets and bullets and guns. That day will come when Emperor Selassie shall rise the world they get to you them from out of this land, yeah. And the day I would love to see their face for all those evil they do to the human race and try to take things out of place, run away to space, shoot them in the air. After one judgment you are gonna get the taste when them find out that them can't escape. Sadness they send on the people them trace. Smile on my face. That day will come when I shall stand and see all those wicked men and the fire getting burned. That day will come when they will try to escape and there will be nowhere to run. That day will come when I shall see they handing over bombs and bayonets and bullets and guns. That day will come when Emperor Selassie shall rise the world they get to do them out of this love.
Going out there to all the beautiful people on this Saturday. Hey.
There are so
We see you
many
unruly.
beautiful
Thank you for
people
putting us out
in
in
the
there.
world today.
Thank you.
Tell you, so many beautiful people in the world today. They are fat
We're
ones,
just gonna play a couple of music.
they are
to liven up the
slim
vibes there.
ones, they are tall ones, They are short ones.
We got
They
KB,
are heavenly,
Richard.
yeah.
We see you.
They are
We can see you.
divine ones. They are so
Now
many
saying,
beautiful
all listeners
people
today,
in
don't be
the
shy.
world today.
Send in a comment.
Yes. So many beautiful people in the world today. Yeah. You make my days bright. You warm up my cold nights.
Today we're going to hit the topic.
You
With a young in the house today.
Girl, you
Get a point of view of hers and of ours.
You are so beautiful.
Communicate with the youngsters today.
You are so gay.
So don't pull no weight.
You
So throw in a
are
comment
so
and ask a question.
romantic.
This is
You
Random
can
in the
have
building.
your way.
Bless people.
So
Hope you're having a good afternoon.
in this world today. Tell you
Yes, Mr. Busy. Hey, D. Richards.
in the world today.
We got Men's Capone. Hope you're enjoying your day today. Yes, you've had a day off today.
And some Peter Tosh.
Hear that?
Everyone is crying out for peace, yes. None is crying out for
Yes,
justice.
interview's coming in a minute. People,
Everyone
lock in.
is crying out for peace, yes. None is crying out for justice. I don't want no peace. I need equal rights and justice. I need equal rights and justice.
we called the one named DJ Sin in the building. He's gonna be playing the music today. Men's Capone's is having a day off. And I've got the one like Cookie in the building. And we're gonna have a nice interview. Big up. Hiya. Bless. Michaela, thank you for logging in. And hope you hope you come in with the comments. We've got a younger in the building. So she's gonna give us a point of view of how the youngers are and the type of things as an elder, what we can do. So feel free to put the comments in. Okay, I've got the one Cookie in the building. I'll introduce her. This is my daughter, and I will be asking her a lot of questions today. And I would like you also to ask questions. So as a parent, you know what's going on out on the street. Okay, Cookie, introduce yourself.
Hi, so my name is Cookie or Angel, and this is my dad. So I'll be interviewed by him today, and we'll just be touching base on a few topics. Mainly one of them being youth and seeing things from a younger's perspective.
Okay. Now, today we was talking, and we saw maybe a girl of about 15, 16
Yeah.
pushing a pram. So I was saying, is that too young? Was that happening in our days? So I had to ask my daughter, Angel, Cookie, like, what do you think? Not to say that she's trying to pass judgment, but
Yeah.
like, is that like, it's a phase? Because she told me about most girls today are saying, if you've got a little change in your pocket, it's all right to have a kid. So I want to ask her a point of view on that.
Yeah, so I feel like with a lot of generations, it's always going to be having children at a young age. It's always been like that, but I feel like nowadays it's been normalized a lot, especially with social media as well. So a lot of women may feel like because they are 16, 17, if they're earning a certain amount of money, then it is okay to have a child as long as you're able to look after that child, whereas it's not the case because we're still young at the end of the day. So as much as we may be earning more than our age or doing things others older than us are doing better, it still doesn't mean it's okay to have a child because we are still young at the end of the day.
So did you think there's a breakdown in communication with a parent and a child?
Yes, I believe there is. I feel like seeing things from a parent's point of view is very different to seeing things from a young person's point of view. I feel like a lot of parents find it difficult in some ways to communicate with a child because a lot of the time they feel like they know what's best for the child. But then again, it's not always the case, because a child does also grow up and find out new things and experience life themselves, as well as growing up with what their parents have also taught them. So as much as our parents may feel like, yeah, our child's doing well in certain things and everything, it may not always be the case, because we may show our parents that, but do a whole different thing.
Okay, I understand. So, like, you're 19 now.
Yeah.
So, going back to when you was in school,
Yeah.
like, what do you see? Like, you're kind of like an elder now, because
Yeah.
if you're 15, 16, 17, as long as they below you and younger in age, you become an elder. So,
Yeah.
what would you say to a younger today if they're going to go out there, find a man and have a baby?
Yeah.
Like, what would you say as a parent,
Mhm.
how to talk to your kids so you're communicating, so you know everything what's going on with them?
Yeah, so when I do have my child, I will have that relationship with my child where they'll be able to trust me with confiding with me in anything and everything. So they will never have to feel the type of way like, oh, like, how do I speak to my mum about that? For example, our relationship, I am very confident with speaking to you about everything and everything,
Okay.
whether I'm in the right or wrong. But that communication there now is, a lot of other people don't have that, and they'll go out there and do something not bad, do something bad or take the wrong route because they've not had that communication with their parents. So I feel like that's also very key. When I do communicate with my children and I say to them, like, in terms of boys and friendships, in a sense, I would also let them have their own experience, because at the end of the day, you do live and you learn, but I'll also guide them at the same time. I can't make them do what they want to do, because they will become of age one day where I can't tell them anything. But I will guide them to the best of my ability, and I'll also allow them to find their feet themselves.
Okay, so as a parent, when I was growing, I wouldn't say it was the right advice. They would say kids should be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the outtake on that?
So, to a certain extent, it is very true, because a lot of young children, and I do speak not on behalf of my generation, but more or less the younger generation, they're very outspoken in a lot of things. So, for example, an adult will be
Thank you,
having
Michaela. I see it.
adults will be having a group conversation and children will be present. Now, a lot of the time, children will have their input, subconsciously thinking, not thinking anything of it. They'll have their input, or they'll carry back other news, which is not for them to carry back. So, in that extent, yeah, I do believe children should be seen and not heard, because a lot of the time they do like to have their input and everything. But at the same time, it's also good, especially from a young age, to make it your child aware that it is also good to voice their opinion. Because if they grow up and they start thinking, oh, but my parents used to say that I should be seen and not heard, they're gonna have confidence skills with dealing with sharing their opinions. So it may be a long-term effect.
Okay, so the breakdown in communication with a parent,
Yeah.
like a new man might come into the house,
Yeah.
the mum might be working. So, what advice would you give to a mother?
Yeah.
Not to say your mum, not to say they can't hear you, but what advice would you give them to say the communication with your children, like, it needs to have a barrier? What would you say the barrier will be?
Sorry, could you repeat that again? I didn't.
Okay, a lot of breakdown of communication with the kids because a new man's moving the house,
Oh yeah.
or the mum's working over hours.
Yeah.
So the kids are free. They're able to do anything they want.
Yeah.
What would you tell a parent? What would you tell a parent how to break that off and find back that barrier, find back that relationship with their kid?
Yeah. So with that, of course, it's very understandable, because everyone has to make a living for themselves. So there's adults that are doing over hours. That means their children are left unattended for a certain amount of time, or not in their care. So in regards to that, I feel like there should be some structure still. There shouldn't be that much freedom. Of course, I understand not everyone's able to find a babysitter. Not everyone's able to find someone to look after their children, which is completely understandable. So I would say, more or less, still have that structure there within the household. Even though the children do have more freedom, still make there be a barrier between that freedom, because they're not grown. They're still young.
Okay, I see that message, Michaela. Young people should have a voice, but know how to voice their opinion. Say it in a not in a rude way. I understand that, and that is very true, because kids today believe they're the parents. So I believe as a parent, you need to break them down and make them be a kid, not your best friend. Your best friend comes after being the parent. So yes, I agree with you about the rudeness. Yes. What do you think about that, Angel?
I didn't quite understand it. I
Well,
heard
what she's
your reply,
saying
but
is kids can voice their opinion,
yeah.
but nowadays the voice their opinion is very, very rude.
Yeah, that's very true because it's not a lot of the time it's not what we say, it's the way we say it. So we may feel like yeah, we need to voice our opinion, but it's the way we're doing it. There's means and ways around everything, and rudeness is not the way because you're not gonna ever get through to anyone being disrespectful, especially when we're a young child, when we're a young person speaking to an adult.
Okay, so what would you believe the changes from when you was going to school with your attitude
Yeah.
to now as you've left school?
Yeah. So growing up, I'll be very honest. My attitude was bad, very bad. Um, there was a lot. There was a lot of mistakes I'd made growing up, but growing up, when I did grow into the young woman I am today, with my parents' help as well, it made me see things from a much different perspective. Especially that I've grown into a young woman now as well. So nowadays, the way I'd approach a situation when I was younger would not necessarily be the case now. I'll take more of a mature approach to it. So it's
Okay.
very true.
Okay.
I
Yes.
have seen the maturity level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grow a lot over the
She
last
was a
few
rebel,
years.
right?
Oh
She was
my
a very,
God.
she was a rebel.
Oh my God. You know what I mean? So, no, I have seen your maturity
Thank
level grow
you.
anyway. And we got Michaela.
Michaela.
She said you nailed it.
Thank
What
you.
rated before, so that's dope. Carry on.
Yes. And also, as a parent,
Yeah.
what would you like them to actually do? Apart from we saying about they should voice out, what
Yeah.
would you like your parent to do?
I feel like it's more or less in regards to my parents that there's everything you do perfectly fine, and I'm not just saying that from a biased opinion because you are my dad, but genuinely speaking, everything you're doing is perfectly fine. So from my point of view, I've been blessed to have my parents. They're very much proper, but genuinely speaking, I feel like communication and discipline is something that a lot of parents should work on. So I say this because I mean, it's like I know what to say, but I don't exactly know how to put it into
Well,
context.
just say it.
Yeah.
This
so,
is random.
yeah.
We just speak.
So in regards to discipline,
hmm
subconsciously, not every parents, but a lot of parents say, "No, I want to beat my child if you're playing that." But there's means and ways, as I was gonna say again, to approach that situation because growing up, then it's a long-term effect on the child. So yeah, the child's playing up right now. We go through things, puberty, adolescence, we're growing, so a lot of our hormones may change a lot of the time. It's not as an excuse, but it's just how our bodies are. A lot of us go through it. So parents should be less hypocritical and less insensitive about the situation and kind of put themselves in it again. Just think about when they were younger, how they was, because
Okay.
it will be an ongoing cycle if that barrier has not been broken whatsoever.
And maybe children should accept a little guidance.
Yeah,
when these
that's
things
very
happen,
yeah.
because they've got to realise as well their parents have been through those situations
Yeah.
already, and that's why they're guiding you through it.
Yeah.
Understand what I'm saying? Like you're not on your own.
Yeah.
If you haven't got parents, agree. But
Mhm.
if you're blessed and you have your parents and you're lucky enough to have
Mhm.
their love
Mhm.
every day,
Yeah.
then you should accept the guidance.
Of course, yeah.
Not
So-
argue about it and think
Mhm.
you're always an adult and think, oh wait, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So Angel said like a great point here. She said as she's a young lady and then you as a mum, don't be hypocritical, which she's not being disrespectful, but she's voicing it like all ladies, they've had this scenario. So we can't be hypocrites. Like you have your hormones, you go through all of that. So yeah, take time out and give the information properly to your kids so they can understand, so they don't have to go out a road and get the feedback from someone else. Play a tune for everyone now, and we'll be back in a sec. Yes, Michaela, I'm seeing your views. Yes, man, I hear that.
So we're in here with randoms. Let's go.
London Hott Radio.
So if you're jamming with us, it's a Saturday. Let's go.
Choice is yours. Where on your right knee, the choice is yours. Choice is yours. Taking it easy. Choice is yours. Choice is yours. Your heart won't open, the walls are caving in. Very own secrets deep within your skin. When you put your things under the sun, you free yourself from negativity and then you push your
What's up, my people? I'm still breathing till the day I go down. Celebrate, we will the here and now. Time to focus, stand tall and stand proud. Celebrate, we will keep it together, live stronger. Mentally strong to live longer. Whoa, and in the present, gonna stay up together, won't drown.
So we got more from the young one.
I won't be weary, still here. I'm never worn out. Out. Yes, the mindset of a winner. I will rise up, forever stand ground. I got your back at the worst set of times. Unification when you're just tired of trying. We need you more than you know. Be your best and let your true self show. You know you'll never be strange to us. We know you got something to offer up. You're one of us, you better liven up. Hey, whoa, you know you'll never be strange to us. We know you got something to offer up. Oh yeah, just be loving and kind, and that'll keep you in line. To all my friends and all my people in the struggle, stand ground. You celebrate goodwill, the here and now. Time to focus, stand tall and stand proud. You celebrate, we will keep it together, live stronger. Mentally strong to live longer. Oh, and in the present, gonna stay up together, won't drown.
People Station, and system, BTI, love them, because we love them.
You know.
Them a call us pirates, them
Sing.
call us illegal broadcasters, just because we play what the people want. I don't like. So them a call us pirates, them a call us illegal broadcasters. BTI try stop us, but they can't.
Had to start that one again. Big shouts to Michaela in the building. Big shouts to Relly Rose. Keep sharing. This is Random. Let's go.
London Hott Radio.
People Station, and the system, BTI.
We are the People Station. London Hot Radio.
Them a call us pirates, them a
they do.
call us illegal broadcasters.
Oi.
Just because we play what the people want. Analyze. So them a call us pirates. Them a call us illegal broadcasters. DTI try stop us, but they can't.
Shouts to Thunder in the building.
Station, it gonna run England.
Dynasty.
2 station, it gonna run England. 3 station, it gonna place a nation. Everybody want me listen to the place.
You know.
Advertise a stage show and make you dance all around. They want take the equipment and I put it in a van. If them broke down one, we make 5 more strong. Down in England, we've got lots of radio stations playing the people music night and day. Reggae, calypso, hip hop or disco. The latest sound today is what we play. On and on, off and on and off and on. If them turn it on, we are gonna turn it on back. If them turn it on, we are gonna turn it on back. If them broke it down, we are gonna build it on back. If them take where we record, then we get fresh start. Now me love this station and me love them to a man. We release and dump it and all the boom shot. The ATI are fine, but them can't stop that.
London Hott Radio.
What you know?
She didn't have a daughter, she did have a son. She said the lift doesn't work, run up the stairs and come. And if you don't come quick, you're not gonna know that's run. So I grab a bunch of flows and that started to run. Here I come, whoa. 2 months later, she said come and get your son, cause I don't want your baby to come.
London Hott Radio.
One more time. You know we have to give this one to you one more time. Shout out to 57 Dynasty, Thunder in the building. Shout out to Snake, shout out to the little one. I don't know what she calls herself, Cookie I think. Big up the person who just walks into the studio. Jeez. Shout out the man at the back in the studio.
That's KB, Bizzle.
Shout out to everyone who's locked on, let's go.
This is old school vibes. We'll soon be back to the industry.
Sing this one time.
She didn't have a daughter, she did have a son. She said the lift doesn't work, run up the stairs and come. And if you don't come quick, you're not gonna know that's run. So I grab a bunch of flows and that started to run. Here I come, whoa. 2 months later, she said come and get your son, cause I don't want your baby to come. Tie me down not cause you are old and I am young. Yes, while I'm young, yes, I wanna have some fun. Run me down, should live out a little, whoa.
On the map for the English. Okay, back into random London Hot Radio. Yes, we're here with DJ Sin and Angel Cookie. Okay.
Hi.
Okay, we left off with what we would like mums to do. Okay, so we're gonna move on to about the boys, the youth. So Angel, what would you say that could help mums to talk to their sons about their behavior today?
So I feel like from a mother's perspective, when speaking to their sons about their behavior and everything, girls are very different to boys in regards to things they go through, decisions they make. They're not exactly...
Sorry, Angel.
It's okay. They don't... It's not something they voice as much as females voice it. So girls, with a lot of decisions that females make, a lot of them will get away with their decisions, as in their parents don't find out. Whereas with boys, a lot of the time they are very good at hiding it. Or if not, it's obvious they're doing that, but you're not exactly knowing how they're doing it. It's not something it's not something they voice about. So the best thing I feel like should happen is, as we were saying before, this communication. So speaking to your sons, but not on a level you'll speak to your daughter, on a different level that you'll speak to your son, because boys see things differently than what girls do.
Okay, well, Angel, like Michaela was saying, like you're lucky one, like taught well.
Yeah.
But you see, there's not a lot of lucky ones like you, as
Yeah.
in parents. A lot of women are growing their sons. So, what would you say? How far would you go to defend and protect your son?
Very far by all means.
But then, when I say how far, I'm talking. A lot of mums hide their sons, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of them hide their tools. A lot of them know what their sons are getting up to.
Yeah.
So, what would you say on that aspect? Or how far would you go to protect your son?
So I will go very far to protect my son because that is my child at the end of the day, as of any other mother would.
Even though he's doing wrong?
Yeah. So even though my child's doing wrong, there's always a reason behind everything. So it may be that although from my point of view I feel like my parenting is okay, my son may feel that there's other things that I need to fix up on. Hence why he's doing whatever he's doing. Because I may try my best to give my son a very good life, but if he feels like he needs to do otherwise, then of course there's a root of this problem, and it's down to me as the parent to find the root of this problem. So that's what so that's what I'll do. If I know my child's put themselves in danger, as I said beforehand, there's always a reason behind everything. Whether it's good or bad, that's my child at the end of the day. And as a mum, I'm going to take on that role to look after and defend my child.
Okay, because you see, back in my day, there was a lot of susu. Yeah? So, if a child behaving bad, do you not think that the mum should approach the dad instead of going to their friends and doing the little susu talking?
Yes. Yes.
Do you believe, like, a lot of mums, they talk to their sons like they're their friends, and they bring all their friends in, and the mum acts like they're on the same age group?
Yeah, that's very true. A lot of the time, a child's behaviour has always stemmed from the parenting because that is a root of everything. If two parents can't get along, and not even necessarily get along, but if two parents can't co-parent for the sake of their child, then expect there to always be some type of problem or issue, because the arguments and everything, the child's taking that all in. It's going to make the child feel upset, and if that is a conversation or a situation that is not being touched base on, then there's always going to be a problem, because at the end of the day, two parents, in order for a child to not even just have a good life, but to go through life smoothly, they always need two parents.
Okay, I see your comment, Michaela. This is a tricky because you can protect them, but they also need to be accountable for their own action. That's very true.
Yeah,
very, very true. So, what you're saying, as a young person's comment and view, is still a level as a young person. But what you're saying as a parent, I agree with you. So, some parents I know back in my days, they used to hand their kids in, to tell the truth. And then you've got some parents who's going to protect them and say, no, I'm not doing that. So I heard a story my dad told me years ago. A woman's son went to court, and the judge said he gave the son 20 years for his crimes he done. So the son called the mum and said, Mum, I need to speak to you before they lock me up. So the mum went over to the son, put her ears to his mouth, and the son bit off her ears. So I asked my dad, is that a true story? And he said, yes, it is a true story. So I said, so why did he bite off his ears? And the boy said, every time I done crime and badness, you always went out there and protect me. So you protect me, you weren't protecting me really, because now I'm going to do a life sentence. So he bit off the mum's ear because she protected him. Now, what you said is a very tricky one. What would you do? What would you do in that situation? How would you feel protecting your son for so many years, and then he's bitten off your ears because he said you protected him wrong?
Yeah. So, as Michaela was saying as well, that's very true. It's always good, not even always good, but it's important to make sure your child holds accountable for their actions, because at the end of the day, they wasn't forced to do anything, they decided to do it. So they should always be held accountable for that. But in regards to me saying that I want to protect my child, I'm not necessarily saying as soon as my child comes to me and say they commit the crime, straight away, go hand yourself in. I'm not going to do that whatsoever. I'm going to speak to my child first. I'm going to advise them on the best approach to take, and then it's down to them of whether or not they're going to take that advice or not, because by that point, my child would have been grown. If you're grown enough to commit that crime, you need to be grown enough to do the time. But I'm not going to force my child to make that decision. That's a decision they need to be making. But I just pray that my child does make the best decision, which will be to hand themselves in.
Okay, I understand that. So, what about sons doing the crime and coming back and putting a load of money in their mum's hand, and the mum's giving it a blind eye because she's saying, okay, there what? You're putting food on the table.
No.
So, isn't she really encouraging her son to be out there doing badness?
So, see, to a certain extent, it depends, because there's taking that money and then there's not entertaining it at the same time. But then again, others will say, but if you're taking it, you're still entertaining it. It's a 50-50, like, it's a bit of a difficult question. But then again, a lot of parents will say, listen, to stay under my roof, you need to provide. If at the time the son's not able to provide in a way they want to, or the way their parents want to, but they're going to go and do other things to get that money because they need a roof over their head.
Okay, so carry on.
Yeah, so in that sense, they're going to bring that money back. They may say, I'm going to stop when I hit a certain amount of money. We never know when we're going to get to that. A lot of young people say, like, yeah, when I get to 50 grand or 20 grand, I want to stop doing what I'm doing. In a sense, that's kind of not unrealistic, but it's unrealistic at the same time, because we're very young. 50 bags, no one's seeing that anytime soon. Okay. So it's pressure and everything. Of course, I understand when you get to a certain age, you can't be living under your parents' roof and not providing or contributing to anything whatsoever. I'm not necessarily saying rent or anything, but even gas and electricity.
Okay.
So
I see your comment, Michaela. One of your sons stole sweets. I made him take them back and hand them back to the shopkeeper. Okay. How old was he? Do you break them from their young? How old was he? Like 5, 10? But I know he won't be 16 because you're not going to be able to do that. So that was a silly one. But yeah, I understand, because my mum did the same thing to me when I did that one time. So yeah, I agree with you.
I feel like a lot of a child's behaviour always stems from the way they've been grown up or the way they've been raised. A lot of the time, not necessarily all the time, but a lot of the time, because think about it this way. For an example, a child is like a sponge. They absorb everything they see from their being taught, from the way they've grown, things they've seen, they absorb it all. So if your parenting if you're not guiding your child the way you should be guiding your child is going to soak up that energy, whether it's good energy or bad, because it's like a sponge. It's going to absorb everything. When a child grows up, yes, it will go and make mistakes or choices on its own, but a lot of their choices are going to come from the way they were raised. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
So, all listeners, don't think that I'm getting at you and putting blame on you. I've got a younger in the building. Sometimes we've got to listen to them and understand where their head's at. There's some who you can't even talk to. You've got some who will talk. So please take advice from what a younger person saying to you. We as adults ain't got all the answers. So yeah. So is there anything else you would like to input for the youngsters out there today?
Yeah, one other thing, and this is also something I had to learn the hard way, unfortunately. If there are any youngsters tuned in, one thing I will say is when your parents do say about watching out for friends and relationships, listen to your parents when they do say about friends that you're keeping, being around, certain mistakes you're making, because although when you're young it may feel like, oh, my parents are just strict, my parents don't let me do this or that. When you grow up and you realise it for yourself, you would understand that your parents were only saying it to protect you. So yeah.
Okay, well done. That was Angel Cookie in the building.
Thank you, guys.
London Hott Radio.
London Hott Radio.
Okay. Yeah, we still got another guest to come in today, and that will be an elder. So yeah, keep tuning in to London Hott Radio. London Hott Radio. Random in the building.
Thank you.
London Hot Radio.
I think we got a couple of more tunes, and then we're gonna have Thunder in the building for a little one. And that's our hour.
Only an introduction.
Randoms.
Come random.
Sun shining, so gotta play some of this. So if you're locked in, go share, like, let's go. Thunder singing in the background, you should grab the mic and do it. Oi!
Yaga yo, you know how we roll. Yaga yo.
Dynasty.
It's ready.
Oi! We might even give a quick freestyle, maybe. Maybe. Put you on the spot, yeah? So little big up little Shan, big up little Shacks. Go check them out. Go check out everything they're doing. Yeah. London Hott.
London Hot Radio.
Okay. Hello. Random in the building. Okay, we got another guest. This is the one called K Vizzle. He's an elder. So, yeah, we're going to get straight to the point.
Big up yourself. London Hot Radio, everyone, man. Big up yourself, man.
Okay, we just had Cookie, and Cookie done well today, so now we're going to have K Vizzle. So, K Vizzle, like, give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself.
Hey, right about now, I'm working, and I do building and construction. So I do that side of the field, innit? So it's like a master builder. Other than that, I'm here, a father, children, but I don't live with a partner.
Okay. Now, where are we going to go with this? If you look back and you go to when you was, what, your Dick Shepherd's days, what, 12, 11?
Yeah.
Like, how did you find school?
School to me was okay. If you was one of the outside children, it wasn't really good for you, innit? Other than that, for me, it was alright, because I had a lot of family members that are certified in the ends, innit, basically, innit? Yeah, but other than that, it was alright. I enjoyed it. I was one of the first kids at the school gate, mate. My parents was like that, innit? They didn't make us have time to be mucking about on the street, iron your clothes, get to the school. If I didn't get there, she would be getting that call and I would be in trouble, innit? Having beatings or whatever, innit?
Okay, so you had a strict mum then?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you witness or see, or did you play part of any of the bullying what was going on in school?
Nah, I didn't really, I used to hate bullies, personally. And I didn't really deal with that type of situation, innit? I used to be the one that would try and save someone from getting bullied at the time, innit? It's not that kind of life. Because it could be your brethren. But Chewy ain't defending himself at the time. You're going to say, oh, allow him, man. Just allow him, innit? Because he's with me, innit? I don't like embarrassment. No one likes it, innit?
So you was protecting them, really.
Yeah, naturally.
So, from school days to growing to a man now, like, where would you see there's been breakdowns?
Breakdowns, I think.
In our times.
Parents not
time.
listening to their children, I believe. That's what I believe. Some parents ain't listening to their children. So some children.
Can you break that down?
Because in terms of like, you see, like you've got, say you're having an argument now, and the child's basically telling you that, rah, mum, it wasn't my fault, or dad, it wasn't my fault, and this person hit me, and obviously I protected myself, and at that time, you might not believe it's the truth, because the damage that was done to the other child and the parent who's coming to you to say that your child's attacked their child in public or whatever. But there's so much peer pressure you can take in it, because from you might be getting mentally bullied in it. It's all about mentals out here, just like this lockdown, innit? It's all the mental, innit? If you ain't looking after yourself, you're gonna end up overdosing and killing yourself out here. That's how serious it is.
So can you see a big difference in your time of growing to the youth them growing today?
Well, my time, we used to know how to use our fist, mate. That's how we did things.
Okay.
We'll have a punch up with our fist, but now it's like they're hiding behind knives and guns now, so it ain't a normal fight anymore. Or you're getting rushed by about 20 men or whatever. It's not like that no more. You can't have one-on-ones anymore.
Okay, so
Days are done.
if your son or daughter was here today, what type of advice would you give them different from what the mum's giving them today?
Right, the only advice you can actually get them to do is concentrate on what they want and their goals and go for those things. Forget about materialistic things and things that come and go. You don't need that in your life, innit? Think about what you need to set up for yourself and your own family then, innit? Your grandchildren, your children. That's what you have to look at, innit? If you're going to sit down and be thinking about things are going to just fall into your lap, it definitely ain't going to happen. You got to work hard for your thing, man.
Okay, so what steps would you say to a youth? Like, go find a trade, go do the football, go do music, like...
Yeah, if you love music, do music. There's a lot of avenues. There's people that will push you in the right direction to do your music. Like even here on London Hot Radio, I know that the guys here, they support you in that direction.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously you can do all that kind of thing. There's, if you want to be a barber or you want to do whatever you want to do, if you want to be a builder, you come check me, innit? I'll show you what you got to learn and that.
Yes.
And that's the advice I can give you, innit? At the same time, there's other avenues for everyone out there, innit? Like, depends what your goals are, innit? I can't push you in the direction you don't want to go in, innit? It's about what you want.
So would you say that the youth today has got much more opportunities than what we had when we was growing?
Yeah, but to be honest, them opportunities are gone. We had play centre and things that we could do in it as youngsters. We could go youth club. We could do all sorts in it. You know, like you had the summer holiday camp that they used to have called Cape or whatever it is. Yeah, they used to be able to do that. You can't do that now. You can't even do
self-love is important.
nothing.
Yes,
Like,
Michaela.
you go to the park with a bunch of people now. The police are stopping you. You get me? It's crazy.
Very, very. Michaela, yes. Ain't like that no more. I agree with you. Yes, it is. Very. Like KV said, back in our days we had youth clubs. You know what I mean? What happened to the youth clubs today? So when people are blaming the government, yes, they are to blame with certain things, but still as parents, yeah, we can't leave it up to them. We've got to grow our kids. And if you're leaving it in their hands, then you're going to say it's up to them and you're going to blame them. We can't blame them. We as adults, we as parents, we've got to teach and show them which way to go. We have to guide them. The government, you're saying it's the government's fault, then why leave them in the government's hand to teach them? Yes, they've got to be there with the government, because the government's going to show, what's the word? What word can I use for this? All right, the government don't care. They've already planned it out for the kids. So if you know that, why do you leave it in their hands? Yeah? You don't leave it in their hands. You've got to take control. Whatever they showed them, when they come inside your house, you've got to give them the rest of the teaching. Not to say you're giving them bad teaching and say, oh, don't do that, don't do that, don't do this. You still got to give the input as a parent. So when I was growing, I had friends and I used to say, oh, my friends them can't come in my house and smoke weed. And then I've got friends where they was going to their house smoking weed and the parents then was good with it.
Yeah.
So that there made me think, oh, my mum ain't bashment. But I'm glad my mum never do that because she made me become a strong person today. So what would you say on the intake of parents sitting down with a 14, 15-year-old kid with their brethren coming in and they're all smoking?
That's not a good thing to be happening, to be honest, because obviously what are you portraying in it? Because obviously your greens for them to be addicted to some type of drug in it, basically.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you should be promoting. If your child's going to do that, they shouldn't be doing it around you as a big man or a big woman. That can't work. They can't come into you and say, wow, Dad, give me a spliff. Nah, blood, don't find your book to go and read, you get me?
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
That's how we deal with things, isn't it? Yeah, it's serious. But some people will allow that because they prefer their child to smoke around them and they know where their child is. I get it. I get it. But at the same time, can't be promoting that kind of behaviour, innit?
So what would you think of these bashment mums? Like, what do you think of that? Or bashment dads? I'm not just going to blame mums. You understand me? The man has to take some also. So what would you say about parenting as the bashment daddy and mummy?
Right. Sometimes the women have to hold their hands up as well, you know. Because at the same time, they're telling man them that, right, you're not going to see your you and this and that when you've broken up in a relationship. To me, I think that's unfair, innit? If they were doing a good job around you, what's going to make it be any different when he's not around you? You see what I'm trying to show you? But these are what some people do, innit? But at the same time, there is man that's out here that just selling girls dreams, innit? And making them just to get the little fun they're going to have in it. And then obviously when the baby comes and the responsibilities, they walk away because they can't handle it. They weren't mentally ready for that thing. They was just enjoying the ride.
Like me growing, if I had a fight, like I couldn't run home and say I lost a fight. Yeah, but my dad wasn't gonna put a tool in my hand and say, "Hey, what, go and stab up or go and do this." I couldn't come back home. I have to go back out there and fight. You understand me? And that is fist fight, hands in. You understand me?
Yeah, naturally. That's how it was in our day, innit? That you would go and see a man have a one-on-one, and then obviously it's just a scrap with fists, and then after that you walk away, innit? You had, at least you got your pride still, innit? These men are just taking, they've lost their pride because someone stabbed them, and they see that opportunity because they're opportunists out here, and they will think that, right, this is the day that I'm gonna have to take man out, innit? Because it's either me or you, innit? And that's not the life that you should be wanting to live anyway. If we can get that being stopped and the post-Cold War, then it would be alright. But that, I think we watch too much American movies and stuff, bro. 'Cause I think some of that I blame as well, man. The music, it depends what people, because some people talk like they do all this type of thing and they're not really doing that in real life.
So wouldn't you say a lot of it has come down to a lot of pride?
Yeah, pride is the main thing for people, man. Pride is the main thing. Obviously, if you damage me in front of people, your pride's already hurting it. So then you're going to want to come back in it, naturally. So that's why I say to people that my advice is try and count man out and walk away or something if you can. In it. That's it. Don't make man push you over the edge and let them get to you. 'Cause then they've won in it because you're the one that's going to be locked up behind bars.
So would you say like bring back youth clubs again?
Man, to be honest, if it could be funded, then yeah, why not? But if it can't be funded, where are you going to get the money from? Because there's parents out there struggling to put clothes in their kids' back just to go to school, you get me? Let alone then putting money into a youth club that they can't afford to fund.
I agree. I totally agree. And like I said, if I could put a big difference and a change, like I would open up little boxing clubs. And like if someone's got a beef, you say, hey, what? You two come together. Rock it out in the gym, rock it out, you know what I mean? And after it's done, it's done. You ain't got no one saying like, yeah, you bust you up and yeah, let's go back for him then. Some people, they have to train their mind and their brain. the deviousness of elders showing the youngers thing is bad. You understand me? Teach the youngers right. Show them. Because when they die, they die. They're dead. They're in the grave. Yeah? And you don't care no more. But you've left a mum and dad heartbroken. Some of them want to have nervous breakdown because I never had a kid to bring up from age 0 to what age they reach for the road to take them away. So don't be frightened to talk to your kids, you know, because you're a parent. If they don't like it, that's their business. Yeah? Be the parent. So what would you say on that view?
Right, obviously I'll tell them to be as strong as they can. Because there is children out there that believe that they, because of the society we're living in and the protection they've got from the government, like CSA or whatever they want to call it, yeah? But obviously you've just got to know to yourself that you got to be strong with that person. If you're going to take away his PlayStation, you're going to take it away, innit?
Yeah.
You're not going to give it back to him tomorrow morning. You're going to be firm, innit? You're going to do your thing properly, innit? So that's why I say to people that you got to be strong in whatever you're going to do, innit? You can't just give up and be weak. Because you're going to be like the victim that your son's terrorizing or your child's terrorizing, then, innit? If you can't talk to your child. Doesn't make any sense. So then it's going to be left to the government to put him behind bars, innit? Doesn't make any sense. Or it's better you be firm on whatever your punishment you're looking to hand out. If that means, well, I'm going to take away your phone for the rest of the year, that's what you're going to do, innit?
And to tell the truth, you know what? I might sound like I'm a bit old-fashioned, but you see what? When I was growing, 18 was 18, yeah? So you're going to your bed. You're not watching that film, yeah? If it's guns, drugs, it's 18. If it's a 15, it's a 15. If it's a PG, it's a PG. But today, even a 7-year-old is watching at 18. They've even taken away the 18 now. They don't even say 18 no more. They just dash it on. They just say violence, drugs, and what else they say? Violence,
alcohol,
drugs.
sexual content.
So like, what is the point?
And nudity or whatever.
And nudity, that's it. So what? When the nudity part come on, you just put your hand over your son or your daughter's eyes, say, oh, you can't watch that bit. And then when it's done, you just put your hand down, but they're still seeing all the violence. So come on, people, like, sometimes we as parents, we're destroying our own kids. I will put my hand up and own it if that's me, innit? Parents, them have to own it. Don't say, oh, that's not me, that's not me. No, it's everybody. You understand me? So please, taking it like Wanda said, take a village to what? To raise a child. We've got to go back to them old saying. When we was hearing it, people laughed after it. But look how much generations has gone now. And now you have to think about it and think, right, what the elders were saying to us was true. But has it gone too far? Can we bring it back? We as parents have to. We've got no choice because your kids, them are dying out here today. When they're watching films, them people's going home after that film's done. They've made their money. Do you understand me? But when our kids go on the road, they're gone. It's a grave. And it's very expensive for funerals today. So, come on, parents. I'm not getting at you. I'm even talking for myself. You understand? For myself.
And myself too.
There's everyone in the building as parents. You understand me? Like, feed them right, ain't it? Me, don't get it wrong. I would say, don't let that man beat you. Don't. But you know what? That's an ignorant mentality we're having. You understand me? I would try peace before arms. You understand me? And if you train your kids good, when a bully does come, if there's so much what's being trained, and there's one bully versus 10 kids what's got the best mentality, they can fight that off. But every kid today, they want to be with the bullies. I've heard a story just the other day. Like, 4 girls kidnap a girl, beat her up because she don't want to do their hair no more. The story goes on. So, like, come on, people. As parents, we've got to do. There's young kids being parents. You've got to show them. Even though we say there's no rule book for a parent, but there's a rule book for the kids. Stick to the basics. If you can stick to that, don't get bored of it. It's something will have to be constant. You got to be. Me, when I talk to my
Yes,
kids,
Elijah.
I keep it and I say, "Hey, what? Bam, bam." They want to argue about it. I don't care. You can't argue with me. You didn't bring me here. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm a parent before a friend. Mr. KV, like, what would you say?
Right. I can't really disagree on anything you said, man. I just have to agree fully 100, bro. Because I know that's what it is. That's what you have to believe.
Someone like Snake is saying that as well to people. You know what I'm saying? It takes a lot of balls to say, look, like we're all the problems, including me. Like we all done wrong, we all done good. You know what I'm saying? So let's count on the good stuff and try and grow from that, which is dope.
So we're gonna have a quick advert in a minute.
We are done with the show.
Okay. Thank you everybody for locking into London Hot Radio, Random in the building. And thank you, Michaela. I saw your comments, and yes, real talk 100%. And hopefully you all log in next week from 5 o'clock to Random in the building. Thank you, love you all. I see you there, Elijah. Big up, blessings still. London Hot Radio. Okay, bye everybody, till next week.
Bye.
London Hot Radio.
Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and weekend. And do lock on to London Hot Radio over the weekend. Tomorrow, loads of shows. We're going to keep setting the weekend on fire.